Mr. Miller is currently the general manager, as I mentioned before, of WOXY.com, a small four-employee webcasting station that currently operates out of Cincinnati, Ohio. WOXY.com, like many internet radio services, started out as WOXY-FM, a terrestrial FM station that broadcasted a unique future of rock and roll format. Under the leadership of Mr. Miller, WOXY-FM made the transition from an analog radio station to WOXY.com, an internet-only broadcast station, in 2004, and is now one of the leading indie rock internet radio outlets. Mr. Miller holds both a BS and BA from Miami University, a fine university located right outside of Cincinnati up in Oxford, Ohio, and currently resides in San Francisco. Thank you again for coming all the way to share your experience, Mr. Miller, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Bryan J. Miller, and I am the general manager for WOXY.com, an internet broadcaster based in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you, Chairwoman Velasquez and Congressman Shabbat, for holding this important hearing. I've had the unique experience of making the transition from a terrestrial FM radio station to an internet-only webcaster, and I hope I'm able to convey to this committee today the lessons I've learned over the course of my career and my reasons for opposing the recent increase of recording royalty rates for webcasters like myself. First, let me state unequivocally that whatever you hear and believe about big webcasters being able to pay higher royalties, the truth is that smaller independent webcasters are struggling to get by in this very exciting but still very young industry. There's a tremendous challenge to deliver the value and innovation listeners demand while maintaining a viable business. From my personal experience, the economics of running a standalone internet radio operation are daunting at best. Between bandwidth costs, hosting, music royalties, and rent, a small webcaster would be doing quite well to simply cover his or her costs, let alone have anything left over for payroll. And in fact, the revenues we've been able to generate in operating WOXY.com over the past several years have at best only covered half of our monthly expenses. In all the conversations that I've had with my peers, their situation isn't much better. Most draw no salary and are lucky to cover just their operating costs. The Copyright Royalty Board's decision is grossly out of sync with the economic reality of small webcasters. Even before the recent rate hike, financial hardship forced WOXY.com off the air and out of business last September. We were lucky enough to have been acquired by a larger company who has thus far been willing to subsidize our operation. Unfortunately, most webcasters facing these increased royalty rates don't have that luxury. I can guarantee that if WOXY.com had not been acquired and was still a standalone entity, the new royalties would have been the end of the road for us at that point. So why should you care about webcasters who are a hair's breadth from going under even before they face the higher royalty rates? I would argue that we deliver something so unique for artists and music fans that our existence should be supported and encouraged and not hindered during the early years of our industry. Musicians stand to lose valuable exposure provided by internet radio outlets. I believe that one of the reasons millions of people tune in to internet radio every month is that they're looking for something new. In the past 15 years, rampant consolidation amongst AM and FM broadcasters has led to a general homogenization of radio programming. Narrowing playlists and fewer artists are being exposed. Consumers are now turning to internet radio to discover new artists and find something that they're not going to get via their local AM or FM radio station. Countless artists have told us that listeners have approached them at concerts around the country, and they told them how they first discovered the band's music when they first heard it on WOXY.com. Today we're playing more than 400 songs from new artists, and in a given year we probably play about 10 times the number of songs as your average terrestrial radio station, and including 5 times as many independent artists who would otherwise never be heard on traditional radio. The musicians hurt most by this rate increase, I think, are the ones who today benefit the most from internet radio, and that would be new and emerging independent artists. Webcasters going out of business is a lose-lose for artists. Consumers will also lose if there's a mass extinction of independent internet radio stations. The growing audience of internet radio proves that there is a hunger for alternatives to mainstream media. With consumers' taste becoming increasingly niched, internet radio has the ability to serve an unlimited number of channels of programming uniquely suited to fulfill this need. For example, stations dedicated to genres like honky-tonk or even children's music could never exist on FM broadcast radio, but confined by geography and limited by space on the dial, traditional radio could never offer this type of programming. But online, these formats have found a worldwide audience, and they're thriving today. Unfortunately, the short-sighted $500 per channel minimum fee in the CRB's decision would make serving thousands of channels of custom programming financially impossible. I fear that the future of Internet radio under the new performance royalty rates will look wildly different from the thousands of small, vibrant, eclectic stations that you see today. A select few, mostly larger corporate webcasters, may be able to pay the increased royalties by subsidizing their Internet broadcasting operations with non-webcast revenues, in effect using Internet radio as a loss leader for their other products. But I truly believe that net radio as we know it and the opportunities it offers will be a thing of the past if the Copyright Royalty Board's decision is not overturned. Thousands of established and budding small businesses will vanish, and although I believe Internet broadcasting has the potential to grow into a thriving, profitable industry, currently the revenue structure is simply not there to support the additional royalties. Thank you for taking the time this morning to consider this matter and speak with representatives from all facets of the industry. I ask you to consider the importance of net radio, co-sponsor the Internet Radio Equality Act, and help keep Internet radio alive. Thank you.